one. Fire one.
Interesting facts about famous people.
The best movies about World War II in the Pacific Theatre. Today we will be taking a look at the highest rated war movies from the Second World War in the Pacific Theatre, rated by Rotten Tomatoes as of the date this video is posted, not my personal opinion. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my new videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it. Three Came Home, 1950. Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. During World War II, author Agnes Newton Keith was imprisoned by the Japanese in various POW camps in North Borneo and Sarawak. She wrote a letter about the film and its critical response. The letter was published in the New York Times on 26 March 1950. It reads, "I find that one or two critics, not the New York Times, question why the story was written. I wrote Three Came Home for three reasons. For horror of war, I want others to shudder at it with me. For the affection of my husband, when war nearly killed me, knowledge of our love kept me alive. And for the reminder to my son, I fought a war for him in a prison camp. He survives because of me. The Japanese in Three Came Home are as war made them, not as God did. And the same is true of the rest of us."
I told you I couldn't identify him. I haven't the faintest idea what he looks...
Run Silent, Run Deep, 1958. Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. A US sub-commander, obsessed with sinking a certain Japanese ship, butts head with his first officer and crew. The real submarine captain that Clark Gable's character was based on, Captain Edward L. Beach, was only 23 years old at the time of the events depicted. Edward L. Beach Jr. wrote the book Run Silent, Run Deep, 1955, as a work of fiction, while without doubt similarities exist between Commander Richardson, Gable, and Beach as submarine captains. The same can be said of Richardson and all US Navy submarine captains of that era. But to say that Richardson's character is based on Beach is a stretch, especially when one considers that the movie is only very loosely based on the book. By the way, Beach also penned a great non-fiction book, an excellent read, Salt and Steel, 1999, his reflections on being a submariner. So Proudly We Hail, 1943. Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. A group of nurses returning from the war in the Philippines recalls their experiences in combat and in love. In keeping with Army regulations, Veronica Lake, Lieutenant Olivia Darcy, changed her famous peekaboo hairstyle. She only let her hair down once in her final scene. Later she cut it with much publicity, because women who copied her and worked in factories kept getting their hair caught in the machinery. During shooting, a rift occurred between Claudette Colbert and Paulette Goddard, after Colbert overheard Goddard saying that she and Veronica Lake were closer friends because they were the same age. Colbert was miffed because Goddard, 32 at the time, was closer to Colbert's age, 39, than Lake's, 20. King Rat, 1965. Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. Fast-talking wheeler-dealer Corporal King is stuck in a Malaysian POW camp during World War II and uses bribery and larceny to take de facto control of the camp. Some of the actors had been POWs in World War II. Denham Elliott, Lieutenant Colonel G.D. Larkin, while serving in the Royal Air Force, had been shot down and taken prisoner by the Germans. Paul Newman and Steve McQueen were offered the chance to star in this movie. They turned it down. However, George Segal, who had his first start part in a film as Corporal King, claimed that, in fact, Brian Forbes had turned them down and gone with him instead. Segal claimed he had always been immensely grateful for this. He later starred in Forbes' last film, the two-part TV movie, The Endless Game. Fires on the Plain, 1959. Rotten Tomatoes, 100%. In the closing days of World War II, remnants of the Japanese army in Leyte are abandoned by their commander and face certain death by starvation. In order to achieve maximum authenticity, actors were fed very little and were not permitted to tend to matters of simple hygiene, such as brushing their teeth and cutting their nails. As a precaution against serious deterioration of the actors' health, a number of nurses were always on call on the set. Iji Funakoshi was never specifically told not to eat. He willingly abstained from eating to get himself into character. The rest of the cast and crew were unaware of this until he eventually collapsed on the set. Production was shut down for 2 weeks. Hiroshima Mon Amour, 1959. Rotten Tomatoes, 98%. A French actress filming an anti-war film in Hiroshima has an affair with a married Japanese architect as they share their differing perspectives on war. This film pioneered the use of jump cutting to and from a flashback, and of very brief flashbacks to suggest intrusive memories. E.G. Okada, playing Liu, did not know any French and was coached in pronouncing each syllable and memorized that order. This started life as a documentary about a nuclear bomb drop on Hiroshima, until Elaine Renee decided to include fictional elements. The Bridge on the River Kwai, 1957. Rotten Tomatoes, 96%. British POWs are forced to build a railway bridge across the River Kwai for their Japanese captors in occupied Burma, not knowing that the Allied forces are planning a daring commando raid through the jungle to destroy it. Colonel Saito was inspired by Major Risaburo Saito, who, unlike the character portrayed in this movie, was said by some to be one of the most reasonable and humane of all the Japanese officers, usually willing to negotiate with the POWs in return for their labour. Such was the respect between Saito and Lieutenant Colonel Tusi, upon whom Colonel Nicholson was based, that Tusi spoke up on Saito's behalf at the War Crimes Tribunal after the war, saving him from the gallows. 10 years after Tusi's 1975 death, Saito made a pilgrimage to England to visit his grave. Alec Guinness tried to inject some humour into his portrayal of the Colonel. Director Sir David Lean was very much opposed to this idea, insisting that it be played straight. Thus began an argument between the two men that continued through the shooting. Letters from Iwo Jima, 2006. Rotten Tomatoes, 91%. The story of the Battle of Iwo Jima between the United States and Imperial Japan during World War II was told from the perspective of the Japanese who fought it. Most of the young cast knew nothing about the incidents on Iwo Jima, as it was not taught in Japanese schools. Shot back-to-back with Flags of Our Fathers, 2006. Ken Watanabe read actual letters sent by Imperial Japanese Army General Tadamichi Kuribayashi to his family from Iwo Jima while preparing for his role. When word spread that Ken Watanabe had been cast in the lead, virtually every young actor in Japan let it be known that they were interested in working on this movie. They Were Expendable, 1945. Rotten Tomatoes, 91%. A Navy commander fights to prove the battleworthiness of the PT boats at the start of World War II. Robert Montgomery was a real-life PT skipper in World War II. He helped direct some of the PT sequences for the film after John Ford broke his leg 3 weeks into filming. Montgomery finished the film and was complimented by Ford for his work. Ford claimed he couldn't tell the difference between his footage and Montgomery's, who took no screen credit. During production, John Ford had put John Wayne down every chance he got, because Wayne had not enlisted to fight in World War II. Ford commanded a Navy photographic unit during the war, rising to the rank of captain, and thought Wayne a coward for staying behind. After months of Ford heaping insults on Wayne's head, co-star Robert Montgomery finally approached the director and told him that if he was putting Wayne down for Montgomery's benefit, Montgomery had also served as a naval officer in the war, then he needed to stop immediately. This brought the Tough as Nails director to tears, and he stopped abusing Wayne. From Here to Eternity, 1953. Rotten Tomatoes, 90%. At a US Army base in 1941 Hawaii, a private is cruelly punished for not boxing on his unit's team, while his commanding officer's wife and top aide begin a tentative affair. Montgomery Clift threw himself into the character of Pruitt, learning to play the bugle even though he knew he'd be dubbed, and taking boxing lessons. Fred Zimmerman said, "Clift forced the other actors to be much better than they really were. That's the only way I can put it. He got performances out of the other actors. He got reactions from the other actors that were totally genuine." Montgomery Clift, Frank Sinatra, and author James Jones were very close during the filming, frequently embarking on monumental drinking binges. Clift coached Sinatra on how to play Maggio during their more sober moments, for which Sinatra was eternally grateful. The now classic scene between Burt Lancaster and Deborah Kerr in the rushing water on the beach was not written to take place there. The idea to film with the waves hitting them was a last-minute inspiration from director Fred Zinnemann.
Watch your fire, boys! Lead those planes!
Honourable mentions: Halls of Montezuma, 1951, Rotten Tomatoes, 88%. Objective Burma, 1945, Rotten Tomatoes, 83%. Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, 1983, Rotten Tomatoes, 82%. The Thin Red Line, 1998, Rotten Tomatoes, 81%. Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, 1957, Rotten Tomatoes, 80%. Empire of the Sun, 1987, Rotten Tomatoes, 75%. Flags of Our Fathers, 2006, Rotten Tomatoes, 72%. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.